welcome to the next one in our lunchtime sessions. These sessions are all about trading 50 minutes of your time for, learning about someone amazing from our network. So today I'm thrilled to be joined by Sal Montgomery, who is one of our latest Presca ambassadors. And without further ado, Sal, just tell us a bit about yourself for a minute or two, a bit of background, and then we'd love to hear about something that you're really proud of.
Okay, awesome. So my name is Sal Montgomery and I'm a whitewater kayaker. I'm lucky enough to do expeditions all over the world in some super wild and remote places.
I love that. And what is it that you're kind of passionate about, that you think our community, I suppose, focused on sustainability or kind of adventure, are most interested in learning about?
So something that I've been working on particularly the last couple of years is something I've just nicknamed purposeful adventure, or adventures with purpose. And basically I've been lucky enough to experience all these amazing places all over the world and some incredible wildlife. And I just have become more and more aware that how precious these places are, how valuable they are, and how us as outdoor lovers have a huge responsibility to be looking after these places and doing what we can to protect them and preserve them for the future. So now I try and make sure that all my adventures have purpose to them, and there is more that is coming out of them positively and benefiting other than just myself and my own enjoyment.
I bet it must benefit you a lot being in those places anyway, but how are you, I mean, what is the positive change you're making? Is it people focused? Is it environment? Like what's your kind of thing?
So for me the main focus is the environment, but I'm becoming more and more aware as every experience I'm learning more that in order to make those environmental changes or the changes that we need for the future, it's the people that are important. And I am also learning that it's very hard to do anything big alone, and that it's so important that we come together. There's enough people out there that want to do things but don't know what to do. So coming together as a community and giving it a full team effort.
Oh, that's amazing. Do you know what? You're so right. It's all about collaboration. And I think we're still a small company, but I find the more companies and ambassadors and people that we can work with to spread that message, the louder we can become and the more impact we can make. That's so positive.
And for several years, I knew I should be doing something, wanted to do something, but didn't even know where to start. It's such a minefield. There's so many different issues you can look at. But the more I kind of got out there and started trying to do things, the more people I met that also wanted to do things but weren't sure where to start. And now if we can all work together, we can actually make bigger change. So
what does that mean in practice? Like, give me an example from a recent trip where you've put this into practice and had some impact.
So there's been a few different angles that I've kind of gone at this with, and as I'm always learning, always open to feedback and trying to do more. But one thing that I've really tried to emphasize is pulling on a strength. I'm not a scientist or a big environmental specialist, so I keep things basic. My background is water. I love water. I know that it makes me feel good, makes me feel happier and healthier, and I have learnt that the more people I can get to fall in love with the water, whether that's swimming in the ocean, going kayaking on our rivers, the more people that will fall in love with the water as well and the way it makes them feel, and the more people that will want to protect it. Generally people want to protect what they love, and by introducing more people to the water and getting them hooked as much as I am, the bigger the voice for our oceans and our water systems, and then our environment as a whole.
Oh, I love that. And that actually really resonates with me, and I think it's the reason why we were so keen to get you on board, because I mean, whether it's water or being in the woods or in the mountains, it's the same thing. You can't love what you don't know, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So get people engaged and really, really passionate about these amazing environments, and then hopefully, we can all start to make change.
Yeah, definitely. And a most recent trip I've just returned from was in Ecuador, where there's a big problem with mining in and around the rivers, and mostly because of kind of those short-term gains financially in those areas. So the more people that we can kind of get into water sports, into loving the river, and benefiting from it personally but also professionally, earning a living from working on the river, the more people that are going to be invested in it and want to start fighting against those mining companies and any future problems.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about power to the people, isn't it?
Yeah.
I love it. And I know something else you're doing is the Ocean 8 Challenge. And again, that's about bringing awareness to the ocean, but closer to home.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
So we're going to be UK based for the Ocean 8 Challenge, and essentially it's trying to encourage people to get out and do something that they love. For me personally, I'm going to be doing ocean swimming for the 8 days, but it's all about getting people to do what makes them feel happy, whether that's a bike ride, walking the dog, whatever, as long as it's outside, makes you feel good.
Yeah.
And then we're giving something back in return to those places that allow us to do the things that make us feel good. We're doing something to invest in them and help preserve them for the future.
That's so good. How can people get involved in that then?
So I'll personally be down in Falmouth, Cornwall, so if anyone's local, then come and join us. However, wherever you are in the world, you can get involved by, as I say, on one of those 8 days or multiple days, even all 8 if you want, getting out and doing something that makes you feel good, followed by doing something good in return, whether that's a litter pick, a beach clean, anything that's going to help preserve those places, and uploading photos, videos, stories, tagging Ocean 8 Challenge, and we'll make sure to share them. And it's all about positivity and sharing that encouragement and the feeling of a team effort, coming together and doing good all together from wherever you are.
Right, and it doesn't have to be I mean, I know you do ridiculous challenges. It doesn't need to be huge and ridiculous, does it? It could be just dipping or getting wet in the ocean, or a walk in the hills, whatever.
Yeah, for sure. My mum and dad get involved, and they just take the dog out for a walk, take a backpack and fill it with rubbish whilst they're out walking. So it can be as much or as little as you want, and whatever activity makes you feel good.
Yeah, that's great. Which reminds me actually of Trash Free Trails. I don't know if you know John from Trash Free Trails. Again, that's that same thing, isn't it? Go biking or running and then just tidy up after.
Yeah, for
you know,
sure.
pick up some
The
rubbish.
Trash Free Trail guys have definitely inspired me. Lots of chats with Dom about how we can get out there and do more good for the future, and yeah, definitely an awesome organisation.
Oh, that's so great. Love it. All right, cool. So one more thing which I think is really interesting. It's away from the adventure with purpose, but it's very much adventure. Is your background as a pro kayaker? and I remember we spoke a few weeks ago, and you were saying, oh, you know, I had the highest waterfall jump or some crazy stuff. And I know it's not all about, you know, being gnarly, but it kind of is at times. So just give everyone just a quick idea of your background.
So my background in whitewater kayaking is mostly river based. And my favourite type is expeditions. So normally going somewhere really wild, really remote, quite often somewhere that's never been explored before, and going and checking it out and working our way down the river, scouting each rapid as we go, and just having a really big adventure.
Yeah.
And I like to run the odd big waterfall as well.
Oh, I love that. But it's not just you. You do it with some you help people, right? You do it with some big names as well.
Yeah. So I work with a chap called Steve Backshaw fairly often. He is a nature and wildlife TV presenter, and also a good friend of mine now. You form close bonds when you're on expedition because you're going through so much together. And he has really inspired me, and it's working with him that has really pushed me to try and do more. As I said, I'm very fortunate that I've been able to experience some of these amazing places. I've kayaked amongst grizzly bears. I've seen incredible things, and it's working with Steve and the other members of our team, who are all just so passionate that it's infectious. It makes me want to do more and keep learning more and finding out what else I can do. And people like Steve have really helped with that journey.
Oh, that's so cool. My kids just adore Steve Backshaw, and it's brilliant that you work with him. And so I think the reason this is a pre-record, I should have said, is because Sal's going to be off in the US doing some ridiculous kayaking again, which is super cool. But Sal, I think if we can just finish with some quick fire questions. It's something we're going to be asking every week. So what does community mean to you?
I think community to me means team.
Yeah.
We're limited to what we can do as individuals, but when we come together we can do amazing things. And not only that, we can share the positivity, share the support, the encouragement. It's easy sometimes to feel a bit hopeless, but when there's other people around you that are super passionate, super positive, then it just keeps spurring you to keep working towards those goals.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I love that. And what makes you feel positive? It's a tough time right now for a lot of people. There's some horrible things going on, but what makes you feel positive and gets you up every morning?
There's a lot of answers to that question, but I think one thing in particular is over the last couple of years the open water swimming community has grown massively, and as well as my kayaking, I absolutely love swimming. I try and get out in the water as often as possible. It's just a great way to start the day, even when times just seem really crazy and turbulent. Getting out into the water makes me feel happy and healthy. And to see that community grow so much over the last couple of years is just completely a great thing, because that's a bigger voice for our oceans.
Yeah.
And more people shouting about why we need to protect them.
Yeah, I can vouch for that. I love getting in cold water. There's so many positive mental health benefits as well as physical. So yeah, I hear you completely. And then last one, big one. Why should we care about the climate?
Well, again, there's so many answers to this question, but essentially it's life. It's our future for us, for other generations. Our climate is everything. It's our world, and it's what we completely rely upon, and it's so important to us and so many other living species and I'd say future generations.
I couldn't agree more. And you know what, there's a lot of bad news. There's always a lot of bad news about the climate and biodiversity and environment, but there are so many positives, and people like yourself and the wider community who are doing amazing things, and hopefully in time that will start to turn the tide, and we can start to make a positive impact and actually reverse some of this real damage we're doing now and end up in a place that is a world that's habitable and happy and healthy. Yeah,
that's the dream.
That's the dream, Sal. That's the dream. Amazing. Right, before we finish up, can you tell everyone how they can find out more about you?
Yeah, for sure. So, as I said, my name is Sal Montgomery. I'm on all the usuals, Instagram, Facebook, have a website, YouTube channel. But yeah, Instagram, that's the one I keep most up to date. And that's just sal.montgomery.
Amazing. Cool. As a kind of in the links to this webinar, we will post out all the socials for Sal so you can find out more. That's been amazing. I think hopefully you've learned today that adventure can be gnarly and exciting, but it can also be really positive, and you can have bigger change rather than just go and have a bit of fun, which is of course amazing as well. For now, all I'll say is thank you very much for dialing in, and Sal, thanks so much. It's been a pleasure to see you.